So we got some basil, which is what we're going to be using in our tomato sauce. I love fresh basil. It's something that we use a lot. I do have other herbs, but I love growing my own herbs just because it tastes better and I know what I'm putting in my food.
No? Nothing? I don't see anything. Here, start again.
Can you put him?
Anything?
Oh, wow. Our first step. That looks pretty.
Yeah.
Hi, Richard.
Got it all full? Can you bring it over here, please?
Richard. Dad's favorite chicken. Rooster. Sorry, Rooster. Our big boy.
Hey, watch out, guys.
Hello everybody, welcome to Daddy's Home Cooking, and today we are making the Texas Calzone. Before then I wanted just to show you our little family that we have. We have our chickens, our garden, my husband and my boys are all out working out in the yard today, so it was just a great family day. Anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to start off making our ciabatta bread, because this is the bread that we use for our pizza, our calzones. The ciabatta bread seems to make better bread. It makes it more crispy and it's just amazing. The other breads, I have used in the past, but overall I find that the ciabatta bread is much better. Anyway, so what we're going to do is just add in our flour. So I do have that recipe that I just showed you at the very beginning. Just follow that directions and mix it very well. I always make a well in my flour to hold the yeast and the water. It mixes so much better when you do that. That's just my preference. You do not have to do it that way. That's just how I do it and how I learned it as well. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get this ciabatta dough mixed up here. And then once we get it all, and by the way, I use warm water. I don't use hot or cold. I use warm water because it activates that yeast a lot better. And then once I get the water added, I'll mix it up a little bit and then I'll add in my sea salt. You don't want to add in the sea salt or salt period with your yeast. It can break it down and not do very well. So that's why you need to mix your flour, water, and yeast before adding salt. Okay, so let me get this mixed up a little bit and I'll add in the salt. All right, guys, so just make sure that, when mixing this, that you don't want the dough sticky. So we need to keep adding a little bit more flour. You need to keep adding more flour. And then once I, get done here, I'm going to put it out on the counter and I'm going to clean my bowl because I want that bowl clean, because I'm going to add either olive oil to it or you can add butter. I usually just add butter to my bowl. And so we're going to mix this up, make it into a nice ball. You want it to be soft, not sticky, you don't want it hard either. So you'll feel it, you'll know when to quit. And don't be too rough with it, This is how you want it. See how it's just kind of going down? Now, after letting it sit for about 2 hours or until it doubled in size, I'm going to just bring it in. I don't even have to use water. It's pretty well mixed to where it's not as sticky. I'm just going to continue to fold this like this. And I'm going to do probably about 5 or 6 folds. Then I'm going to just, until you'll know when to stop on the folds, because you really can't fold anymore. So what I'll do is I'll end up taking 2 hands, bringing it, trying to shake it a little bit, because you don't want to stretch it. You just want to just fold it, because if you stretch it, you're going to rip it. You don't want to be ripping it apart. So I just take it and I just shake it just a little bit and then fold it. And then I do it until I just can't do it anymore. So I'll stick it right back out into the garage, cover it up, let it double up in size again, and then I'll do it another stretch and fold. And then after the third stretch and fold, I'm just going to go ahead and bring it in, start my calzones, or, you know, if you're making pizzas, do pizza. So either way is fine. The more folds that you do, the better it's going to be crispy, and it's going to have all those like holes in it like ciabatta bread does. I think I do about, for the calzones that I'm making today, I think I do about either 2 to 3 folds. I can't remember sessions altogether. I'm not sure. But anyway, so now what we're going to do while that's setting out and rising, I'm going to start on my sauce. Now, I like to make my own homemade sauce. Other people, you know, like to buy ragu. That's fine. Go ahead and buy your sauce from the store. But my sauce I'm going to make is, I'm going to dice up some garlic into pieces, and then I'll dice up some onions a little bit for my red sauce. Now, my red sauce is just a little different when I'm doing pizza. Now, when it comes to spaghetti, it's a little different. I love my spaghetti a certain way, and I love my pizza sauce a certain way. So with the pizza sauce, what I do is I saute the garlic and the onions together, and then I'll either blanch my tomatoes, which today I did not blanch them. I just went ahead and blended them, which I probably shouldn't have done that. I should have blanched them, or put them in the oven and let them like broil up, but I didn't do that. So I just have to use with what I got. And so anyway, what we're going to do is go ahead and chop these up, and then we'll start on our tomatoes. Okay, guys, so I need to get my hamburger going. I've almost forgot about it. So I've got to get this going because my husband and my oldest son want hamburger in their calzone, where my son, my youngest one, he's more picky. He is not much of a meat eater. So he does not eat meat much. He'll eat maybe chicken every once in a while, but that's pretty much about it. So he's going to have pepperonis on the side. I'm going to go ahead and get this hamburger going and saute it up. I'm going to add in my fresh garlic to the hamburger here. I saved some for my tomato sauce as well. So anyway, we're going to add in some Italian seasoning to our hamburger. I do about 1.5 teaspoons of Italian seasoning. Then I'm going to be adding in red pepper flakes. I do that for a spice. So, and my sea salt, I do about 2 teaspoons. Black pepper, I do about 1 teaspoon. And then I'm going to mix that up really well. Now, my hamburger is not your typical hamburger. This is a brisket hamburger. I always grind it up. I buy a huge brisket and I'll just grind it up in a grinder. This is my fresh basil leaves from my garden. So we're going to go ahead and dice one of those up so that we have in our meat. It just gives it more of a better flavor when it's cooking all together. And it smells so good. That's why I love growing herbs in the garden, just because it just tastes so much better in your food. So much better. All right, now I know I should have broiled my tomatoes, but I just didn't. I'm going to go ahead and just blend them up in the blender here with a little bit of tomato sauce, and I add the tomato sauce into the bullet here. Just using regular tomato sauce. And just mix that up really well. Gotta clean up my space here. Okay, so I'm going to use my homemade herb garlic butter. It's like I mixed the homemade heavy cream with garlic, Italian seasoning, and red peppers, and some other seasonings that I added to that butter. It just makes it great cooking for cooking. So anyway, I'm going to melt this down. And once we get this butter melted down, we're going to add in our garlic, chopped garlic, and our onions. And this butter, by the way, once you make it homemade, you can freeze it and use it whenever you need it. And it smells so good. And just make sure you mix it really well so it doesn't burn. Okay, I'm going to add in my garlic. I'm going to get the garlic to cook a little bit and kind of, like get broken down a little bit so it's not, you're not crunching on your garlic when you're eating your sauce. You don't want that. So cook your onions and the garlic all together. Let them just saute together. And I'm going to add a little bit of basil. Since those have been cooking, add in a tomato sauce. And we're just going to let this tomato sauce simmer. I'm going to add in my seasonings. I'm going to add my black pepper, crushed red pepper, my salt, some Italian seasoning, and I'm going to add in some brown sugar. Mix that up. Now, guys, when I do my sauce for my pizza, I do a different thing, okay? Some people are going to be like, what in the world? Well, this does give it flavor, and I promise you, you're going to love it. Just try it. Just try it one time, and then tell me what you think. I know it may look gross, but this is a teaspoon of mayo. Now, you're going to break that mayo down into the sauce, let it cook, and I use an egg blender thing to beat it down. It tastes really good. And add more seasoning to that sauce as you go, okay? Because you may need to add more sauce, more seasoning like brown sugar or some more garlic powder or pepper or salt. Okay, so now that we got our bread done and our sauce is now simmering on the stove, we're going to go ahead and work our dough here a little bit. I'm going to get it going. I'm just going to kind of flip it around just a little bit before we start dividing the dough in halves for our calzones. Now, I'm going to do about 4 calzones just because we have 4 people in this house that I've got to feed. So I just split them up in halves. And you can do smaller ones if you guys like. That's fine. But I do a bigger size so that, you know, it feeds my whole family. Okay, I'm going to set these to the side for now. Okay, guys, so the trick to this when you're doing your calzone dough, make sure you have enough space in between because you're, excuse me, so sorry. You're going to have to flip this over to stuff it, okay? So make sure you spread it out enough and make sure not to rip it, okay? Just work it and just go gently. All right. Okay, so once I get this all worked out here a little bit, we can start adding our sauce. Don't be afraid to, you know, stretch it out just a little bit. Yeah, see, I tore it just a little bit, but that's okay. I just fixed it back. All right, now that that's, you know, where I want it, I'm going to go ahead and add in or add the sauce on top of it. You don't want the sauce to be too thick on here, okay? Just enough to cover it and that, you know, when you bite into it, you have sauce on there. Because if you overload it with sauce, it's going to be way too much. Because remember, we still have to add the cheese, the pepperoni, or the hamburger, whatever you want to add to this. So right now, this is a perfect amount. I'm going to add on my vegetables. I guess I add a little bit more. Sorry about that. I may have missed a little bit. Okay. All right. Okay. Now that we got the sauce added to the dough here, we're going to start adding our cheese, then our pepperoni, and then our vegetables. And then I added a little bit more cheese on top of that because I like to have my calzones nice and cheesy too. All right, guys, once we get these pepperonis on, just go ahead and start sealing those creases. And all you want to do is just flip that dough over once, the part, and make sure everything is covered. If you do have a rip in it, just try to patch it up the best that you can. Okay, and I'm also going to show you guys something a little different when rolling out your dough. Instead of doing it this way, because it is a little bit harder to pick it up whenever you have it made, lay down some parchment paper first and then start rolling out your dough because it'll make it so much easier. All you have to do is pick up from the sides of the parchment paper and then put it on the pan. So, because you can cook with parchment paper. Now I'm going to go ahead and do another one so that you guys can see how I do it. And I do end up putting parchment paper down, I think, with this one because I'm like, yeah, this is just too much. So it's a lot easier. I guess I don't. I thought I did. Yep, I'm thinking about it. Yep. The reason why with the parchment paper is just because it just makes it so much easier for you to pick it up and bring it and put it on the pizza pan. And you can leave it on the parchment paper because it's not going to hurt anything. All right, so I'm gonna finish up this one here and let you guys watch, and then I'll bring you back so that we can do the dipping sauce. Now my son, he's the one that makes the dipping sauce, and he does all of the dipping sauces in the house because he does such a great job. So we'll let him get started with that, and I'll be right back. Okay, so we're getting ready to cook them in the oven on 375, and you want to cook them until they get nice and golden brown and crispy. I do an egg wash. This egg wash is just egg, a little bit of water, and garlic powder, Italian seasoning, and a little bit of pepper flakes. You don't have to add those seasonings, but I do just because it gives it so much better flavor, and it gives it a nice little like a gloss color look whenever it's cooking. All right, so my son's going to be making this dipping sauce for the calzone. It calls for ranch. This is his homemade that he does, and he's going to show you guys how to do it. Okay, this dipping sauce is the Texas Dust Bowl Ranch. It is super good. By the way, you can use cayenne pepper. I would just do probably a half a teaspoon because some people don't like all the heat. We actually do. We love the spice to this, so we add about a teaspoon altogether. You can just do a half. Now we do black pepper. So I would do about, I think he does about a half a teaspoon or a teaspoon of black pepper. Right, he does about a teaspoon and a half. Liquid smoke. do about a teaspoon and a half of liquid smoke. Okay, we're going to add some crushed red peppers as well. You don't have to add these. We do it because it's the heat, the spice. We love spice in our home, a lot of spice. Okay, guys, so you're going to mix this up really well. And he eventually gets the egg whisk and he starts mixing it. It just mixes it better. Once you get that done, go ahead and set it to the side or back in the refrigerator and let it sit until your calzones are done cooking. Right now they are cooking in the oven on 375. So once they get nice and golden crispy, we'll bring them out and we will cut into them. Also, I just want to say thanks again for watching my video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, guys. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so that you can watch for my videos coming out. Also, stay safe and God bless. Love you guys. Have a great night.
Oh, crispy. Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow. You put bell pepper on 'em or you put
Yeah, bell
banana
pepper.
pepper?
Bell pepper.
Oh, okay. Wow.